morning, Hunter Biden's attorney, Abby Lowell, addressing if Hunter will take the stand, telling the judge in that case, quote, "We are down to that last decision." So far, the jury has heard from his daughter, Naomi Biden, who delivered moving testimony describing that during the summer of 2018, her father was the clearest she had seen him since her uncle Beau died. They also heard from Gordon Cleveland, the gun store worker who sold him the gun in 2018, as well as several of Hunter's former lovers, including Hallie Biden, who have described his frequent drug use during their time together. In text messages exchanged between Hunter and Hallie Biden in the days directly following that gun purchase, Hunter describes waiting for a drug dealer named Mookie and smoking crack on a car. The jury will be tasked with weighing whether or not Hunter lied when he allegedly checked no on that federal gun form in October 2018, stating that he was not addicted to drugs at the time of the purchase. President Biden has said he would not pardon his son if he's found guilty, but a constitutional lawyer says that could change. Listen.
I think Joe Biden ultimately is going to pardon his son, Hunter Biden. But I think there's actually some other reasons why you may want to do that if you're Joe Biden, not just the fact that he's your son, but if you think about it, there's been questions about Joe Biden's behavior in the past, some of his alleged business dealings and the like. So one could actually see a scenario where Joe Biden pardons Hunter Biden and perhaps associates associated with Hunter Biden in various ways, so they don't in turn turn state's evidence against, let's say, Joe Biden.
If the defense decides not to call Hunter to the stand today, then the jury could head into deliberations as soon as this afternoon.
Wow.
Guys.
Hunter Biden had his wish granted from the Make-A-Wish Foundation to be his own sketch artist in his own trial. The judge in the case felt pity for the 54-year-old man boy and said that, quote, "If I can help a butterfly land on a handicapped kid's nose, I would do that, and this is like that." Well, Brian, I don't know about these paintings, though. I'd be like, can you?
I'm not sure if we're gonna do I'm not sure if we're gonna make the Make-A-Wish meme theme is gonna be something that continues with this show. We're not gonna do a full Make-A-Wish week here, Jerry. We will not. We will not do Make-A-Wish week for our memes this week, Jerry. I feel like we could. I feel like that's a minefield. All right, that's even for us. We love to push it around here. That's a minefield. That is a freaking hilarious meme. Let's play that at the end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, June 10th, 2024. The defense rests its case without Hunter Biden's testimony or the testimony of any Bidens. This is an incredible phenomenon we're going to cover here on the show. No Bidens have shown up to help old Hunter in his time of need. Now, what does that say about the nature of the rat and the parasite? We'll tell you all about it. A reminder that Donald Trump's kids were out in the middle of the street stopping traffic to testify in the defense of their father. So a very interesting little note there. Trump draws massive crowds in West Coast swing inside of dark blue states. Donald Trump's raising tens of millions and stopping traffic to a halt. An incredible moment and a really deep and profound vibe for the president. Congressman Brian Mast joins the program from the great state of Florida. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, you saw some breaking news. Joe Biden is effectively using his little D-Day speech and his Depends advertisement from last week to launch U.S.-made missiles into Russia. That is something that we wouldn't deign to do even at the height of the Cold War. We would never be that suicidal. It's utterly evil. They're trying to start World War III. And these people are in a suicide pact with Satan, I'm convinced. So be cautious, be careful, and be concerned about where you're placing your money. Make sure that you are investing in commodities that always skyrocket when we are ratcheting up wartime. And what are those commodities? Well, iron ore, gold, silver, precious metals. Those are the things that always a war is coming when those things are skyrocketing. And guess what gold's doing right now? My friends at Allegiance Gold will help you out, ladies and gentlemen. Go to Allegiance Gold today. ProtectWithBenny.com today. Call 844-66-BENNY. Right now, get $5,000 in free silver with a qualifying purchase. Don't get fooled by inflated stock values or the promise that the economy is stable. No, ladies and gentlemen. You got these crazy people that are running in trying to wreck everything in this place. And, well, I guess you better protect yourself in many different ways. But protect your finances today. Protectwithbenny.com. My friends, Allegiance Gold will take care of you. Okay, here we go. The live ticker for the Hunter Biden trial. It is ongoing right now. Jim Biden was smoking outside the courtroom, and all of the Bidens seem to be doing a very strange little dance right now around this case. And it bothers me. It makes me upset because I think I know what's about to happen. And I want to prepare you for this the way that we tried our very hardest to prepare you for what was going to happen to Donald Trump, what may well still happen to Donald Trump with them putting him in prison. We want you to be the most educated audience on the internet, and we never will ever lie to you, okay? We will not do that. So here's the thing that makes me really concerned about this trial, and we'll have here. Let's put up the live ticker for what's going on, just to let you know that we have cameras, and we have obviously eyes on this trial and the Make-A-Wish. I mean, it really is like a Make-A-Wish for a 55-year-old man baby inside of this court. I want to set the table here by saying that my wife's entire family is from Delaware, and that I've spent an inordinate amount of time in that state. And that there's something completely and totally perverse about having such a small state with such a big shadow of like a single family, because Joe Biden has been in the Senate since the Revolutionary War, and having Joe Biden loom so large over that state. Everybody owes Joe Biden a favor. Everybody's mom, brother, sister, cousin, uncle has been appointed or put somewhere or gotten some job because the Bidens. They're as crooked as a $3 bill, that family. There are so many stories. You go there and you pony up to any bar in Delaware and you sit there at the VFW or the American Legion and you ask somebody a question about the Bidens. Everybody's got some horror story about this family. But everybody knows them. And so in Wilmington, especially, in Wilmington, the capital, every person has to thank their lucky stars for the Bidens. And so what's going to happen is the opposite of what happened at the jury with Trump. You're going to get a hung jury, I think, out of this thing. You're going to get like, all it takes is one. You're going to get one person that says, oh, well, Jim Biden got my aunt out of probation for her DUI, and I would never, ever vote to convict Hunter. It's the reason why, just taking a step back in American history, the reason why you can go and see so many interviews of OJ jurors. There are these OJ jurors, they're black, and they said, it's why they moved the OJ trial, right, out of Brentwood into downtown LA. They wanted to be as close as possible to the people who were the most emotionally affected by the Rodney King beatings that had taken place a summer earlier, so that you could emotionally manipulate them. And those jurors look straight down the barrel of the camera. These interviews exist. And maybe we'll play them later this week. These interviews exist. They'll say, oh, we know OJ was guilty. We voted to acquit him as revenge for the beating of Rodney King. We know OJ killed that lady, his wife, right? And we just let the murderer free because we didn't like what happened with Rodney King. They say it. They admit it. They admit it to the cameras. Is this what we're going to get in the Hunter Biden trial? Or you're going to get like one or two or three of these people saying, you know what? Like, I don't need to go to prison because of what happened with me in my life. The time that Jim Biden, right, like tipped the waitress at the diner. It was my niece, a C note, and that I like him. That's it. That's what's going to happen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So let's rock and roll. I don't want to be a doomer. I'm an optimistic person. I want Hunter Biden to go to prison for the clear and obvious violations of American tax law and just like basic morality. The guy is such a dirty, dirty scumbag. But nonetheless, we're going to rock and roll. Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Great. Let me hear. Klein, what's up? Audio good? Audio good. Okay. So I want to make sure, obviously, we always want to make sure that we do the show live every single day. All of our guests are live. And sometimes we do have some studio issues. And so my technical team was saying there might have been an issue with the audio. It seems like everything is all set now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to check in on that. All right. So what's going on in this Hunter Biden trial? Well, there's nothing better than to go through it with you point by point in a thread that is going insanely viral right now that has truly profound and devastating impact on what you may or may not think about the Biden family. I want to reiterate here that you should absolutely judge parents by their children. Any parent that doesn't want to be judged by their children are cowards. It's biblical to be judged by your children. You should raise up. It is a responsibility that you have. You should raise up your kids correctly. And you can also judge people by their pets. I mean, it's less biblical, but is your dog a mess? Is your dog a freak that bites everyone? Well, then you're a bad dog owner. Is your son sick degenerate that bangs his dead brother's widow, gets her addicted to crack, buys firearms, blames it on a bunch of Mexicans? He did that. When the firearm was deposited into a dumpster next to a school? Well, maybe something's wrong with Joe Biden. Maybe there's something wrong with his family. Just a thought. Maybe you should start to judge Joe Biden by these failures, because that's a really important thing to do. Let's go through this thread. This is crazy because I haven't seen anything better. A better summary, a point by point. This is by Mia Cathell. She's a investigative reporter for townhall.com. Mega thread of the evidence admitted thus far at the Hunter Biden gun trial. This is the admitted evidence. All right. So this comes with obviously a bunch of media and information, and we'll walk you through all of this on October 12th. 2018, Hunter Biden walked into a Star Quest Shooters and Survival Supply, a federally licensed firearm dealer in Wilmington, Delaware, and answered no to question 11E on an ATF Form 4473 federal background check form, certifying that he was not doing drugs or addicted to controlled substances such as cocaine. Have you ever purchased a firearm? I'm sure you have. Have you purchased a firearm? Then you know this, you know the federal NICS form very, very well. If you purchased a bunch of firearms, you filled out a form for every single firearm. There's no batching this form. You got to fill out this form every single time. They are very, very thorough. Let's go ahead and click there on the first form image. And you can see there that there it is right there. Are you addicted to marijuana, depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance? That narcotic drug would, of course, be cocaine. Same cocaine that was found on the gun pouch and the firearm of Hunter Biden, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. By attesting no to the drug user addict question on the federal firearms paperwork, Hunter Biden was able to buy a Colt Cobra 38 special revolver. There it is right there. You can see the firearm, and you can see the purchase price. Purchase price was $886. He also bought some other amenities along with it. Let's get into it. Hunter Biden also purchased 25 rounds of ammunition, 2 of which were missing when the gun was eventually recovered, for a revolver, a speed loader, an accessory that enables rapid loading, and a semi-automatic air pistol. Uh-oh. Hunter's ex-lover, Haley Biden, the widow of Hunter Biden's late brother, Beau Biden, whom he introduced to crack cocaine, found the gun inside of Hunter's unlocked Ford Raptor truck while cleaning it out in 2018, 11 days after the gun sale. According to Haley's testimony at trial, she additionally found remnants of crack cocaine and drug paraphernalia strewn throughout. Here are Haley's texts with Hunter Biden when she realized she stole the gun. When he realized he stole the gun, he goes insane. He goes nuts. He says that it is the stupidest possible thing that she could do, and that they're committing crimes. He admits that they're committing crimes. Haley wrapped the gun in Hunter's Biden's leather brown pouch, dumped it in at Jansen's Market. Dr. Jason Brewer, a forensic chemist serving as an expert witness for the prosecution, conducted an analysis of the off-white powdery residue on Hunter's brown-colored pouch. Brewer testified that it had traces of cocaine. In late October 2018, Haley complained about another one of Hunter's pouches containing a stem, aka crack pipe, left at her home and library next to her son. Oh, okay. Got it. Great. So Hunter's just leaving crack pipes next to the son? This is crazy. This one comes with surveillance footage. Here's a local grocery store surveillance footage of Haley Biden discarding the gun. She used a gift bag to mask its appearance, tossing it into a trash receptacle and shopping around inside. So you can see here the footage of her chucking the gun. Then comes Edward Banner, an elderly old dumpster diver, rummaging through the shop's trash, searching for recyclable. 80-year-old Navy veteran stumbled upon Hunter's gun and took his discovery home with him. He reportedly stashed the revolver and rolled in a rolled-up sock tucked inside of a General Motors lunchbox, in a Delaware police lieutenant ultimately recovered it. Hey, Klein, we're going to have to actually pull up the thread here. Okay, buddy? Yeah. Okay. Let's stick with me, please. Here is security footage of Haley Biden returning to the store and frantically looking for the gun that's now gone. At this point, she filed a police report, and Hunter was considered a victim of firearm theft. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Authorities extracted a trove of data from Hunter Biden's infamous laptop he abandoned at the Mac shop and computer repair place owned by John Paul Mac Isaac on April 2019. Investigators also accessed his iCloud account via search warrant issued to Apple Inc. Oh, no. Pictures and videos of Hunter Biden smoking crack while nude were among the visuals prosecutors presented to the jury on a projector screen. Oh, boy. Yikes. Hunter's ex-lover, Zoe Keston, an online cam girl who also goes by the social media moniker Weed Slut 420, testified against him. The two met up when she performed private sessions for him at New York's #1 strip club, the Vivid Cabaret. Oh, boy. Great dude. Really great dude here. Here they are bathing together. The prosecution showed pictures of Hunter Biden's ex-girlfriend, Zoe Keston, took of him smoking crack while the two others were in a luxurious spending spree, lighting up high-end hotels across Los Angeles and New York. On the witness stand, Keston, the stripper, explained that Chore Boy, a scouring pad that filters the crack pipe, can be seen in the background, as well as chopsticks that are used to scrape out the remaining residue. I can be sober, but I'll always be an addict, Hunter Biden texted Zoe Keston. The defense claims that the text sounds like a step in an Alcoholics Anonymous type recovery program and not an admission of guilt. Hunter Biden's team is relying on that argument. Okay, good job. The prosecution also played portions of Hunter Biden's audiobook narration of his memoirs, Beautiful Things. In court, Hunter heard himself admit that he bought crack cocaine on the streets of the nation's capital and embarked on a cross-country crack-fueled odyssey, smoking crack every hour of the day with an around-the-clock use of crack, sometimes shortening as to often say every 15 minutes. I was doing nothing but drinking and drugging, Hunter wrote. Oh, okay, well, it's kind of, presumably, if you record yourself and then publish this, it's hard to go to trial and say that you lied about it in your book. Who's liar? Who's the liar? Like, it's Hunter Biden the liar? If this all seems remarkably insane and like throw Hunter into the cell block in Guantanamo Bay and toss the key in the ocean, yeah, this is what a sane person. I want you to know all this stuff when I'm not a doomer here. They should put Hunter in prison, but I'm telling you that this Wilmington jury, that the family's, and I'll get to this in just a second, the family's acting as though this thing's already been wired, right? As though they already got somebody on that jury who's going to do their bidding and going to hold out. This is what the family's acting like. This is why Hunter's not testifying. This is why none of his family's testifying. None of his family want anything to do with Hunter Biden. Among Hunter Biden's texts with drug dealers in that prosecution pulled for presentation to the jury, he told Haley Biden that he was with Bernard, who hangs out at 7-Eleven, and waiting behind the Wilmington Blue Rock Stadium for a drug dealer named Mookie on October 13th, 2018, the day before he acquired the gun. I was sleeping on a car smoking crack at a street corner in downtown Wilmington, Hunter texted the next day. So if you were in the right spot in 2018 in Wilmington, you could just see Hunter Biden laying on the hood of his car smoking crack, waiting for Mookie, his crack dealer, outside of the Blue Rocks, which is a baseball team, minor league baseball team there. And here are the photos. There are the photos of the massive rocks of crack, Mount St. Helens, like literally like stuff you would. Do you live in the Midwest? You could. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff you take your ice scraper. You live in the Midwest. You live in a cold area. I grew up in Iowa. You get your ice scraper and you scrape these huge pieces of ice off your windshield to drive in the morning. It's so cold, and they look like these crack rocks. Bank statements show that more than $150,000 of cash was withdrawn from Hunter Biden's assortment of accounts over the 3-month period around the same time he purchased the gun in the fall. Hunter's ex, Zoe, the stripper, testified that a good amount of the cash was spent on buying drugs. She said that Hunter had her withdraw the cash on his behalf, and he'd remotely request a temporary PIN code that allowed anybody to access his account, even drug dealers themselves. Great dude. I'm glad this family's in charge of our economy. Isn't that great? They're so smart. They're so innovative. Some of the accounts accessed for cash include the Owasco LLC and Owasco PC. So when the IRS sends you a letter, like asking you about some $600 payment that you made in 2014 to like the guy who fixed your flat or something, like remember that Hunter Biden was able to use his business accounts to pay for his crack. In a separate California tax evasion case, Hunter is accused of using the Owasco, this was the name of one of their shell companies, to evade taxes, specifically that he subverted the payroll and tax withholdings process of his own company by withdrawing millions from the corporate account outside the typical payroll and tax withholding expenses. A big, fat no-no. And thread, ladies and gentlemen, you can see there. Something that is missing in this mega thread done by this author, which is an exceptional, and we've reposted it, and well done, Mia Cathell of Town Hall. Something that's missing in all of this is that the Hunter Biden's first wife, who he has children with, was begging him during all this drug-fueled debauchery for money, saying, "You owe me child support. Can you help me? Can you help provide some funds for your children?" Like Naomi Biden. We'll get to Naomi Biden's testimony here in just a second. Can you help provide some money for your kids? Like it'd be good to have some, please help. You are court ordered to pay money. And he texted back, "I don't got any cash." What a dirty, filthy, rotten to the core, blackened soul kind of guy. He texted back, "I don't have any money." He's blowing millions, literally blowing millions on crack and coke, strippers, call girls, dumping these guns at these grocery stores, and then blaming the Mexicans. We say that because he literally did that. Hunter Biden, when asked by the police about this firearm, trust me, ladies and gentlemen, you want to end up in federal prison faster than your head can spin, just faster than Joe Biden takes a squat during D-Day. Take a firearm and throw it in a trash can. Any firearm. Do it on camera. Take a firearm, throw it in a trash can. Any firearm. If you want to do it real fast, do yours. I'm saying, please don't do this. You break it. First off, it's so breathtakingly unsafe. It's unbelievably criminal for good reasons, for very good reasons. I'm a big time firearm advocate for legal and responsible gun owners, people who behave illegally or irresponsibly with firearms, put all of our lives at risk, and you belong in federal prison for stuff like this for a very long time. I mean, Hunter Biden's facing 25 years here. We'll see what they get. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the mega thread of what we have found out at the trial so far, along with videos, evidence. And so when the jury can't reach a verdict and everybody says bye-bye to Hunter Biden, I want you to remember that. Maybe we'll do that thread every single morning. Maybe we'll just recap all that every single morning to remind you what true human garbage the Biden family is. The Biden family has not been testifying on Hunter's behalf. We just learned moments ago that Hunter Biden will not take the stand. That jury was sort of out. We weren't sure if Hunter Biden was going to allow himself to get cross-examined by the government. The government has put together a really thorough bit of evidence. I mean, all of that evidence we found, some of that's brand new. We found all that out from the government, the same government that lied and said Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. The updates on the trial thus far, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
From what's going on right now, the jury is not seated yet, but there's some preliminary discussions underway right now. In it, there has been an indication from the defense that Hunter Biden will not testify, but that is not fully confirmed yet. That's not been declared yet. We're still waiting to hear if, in fact, he will or will not testify. He arrived for his second week in court with his wife, Melissa. His stepmother, First Lady Jill Biden, is also here again. So are his aunt and uncle, the president's sister, Val, and his brother, James. James, also a business partner of Hunter's. If Hunter declines to testify, this could all finish very quickly, with closing statements and deliberations as early as this afternoon. If Hunter testifies, the prosecution has indicated it will call rebuttal witnesses and the trial will go deeper into the week. Now, prosecutors allege that in October of 2018, Hunter Biden was a drug user who purchased and possessed a gun and allegedly swore on a federal form that he was not a drug user. They've produced text messages, witnesses, even passages from Hunter's own audiobook to try to prove their case. They've called Hunter's ex-wife and ex-girlfriend and his sister-in-law, Hallie, who was married to his brother, Bo, and who Hunter had a relationship with after Bo died in 2015. The defense has drawn testimony that none of the witnesses actually saw Hunter use crack the week and a half he possessed the gun. If convicted, the charges carry a maximum of 25 years in prison and a $750,000 fine.
Wow. Well, what's strange is that Weed Slut 420 testified that Hunter was using lots of crack. So, I don't know. Are we gonna get one of those presidential medal ceremonies for Weed Slut 420 at the White House? Jerry, can you get me one of those? Can you get me one of those memes, please? Joe Biden putting the old medal on Weed Slut 420. Didn't realize I didn't realize the chat was so obsessed with the wonderful wonderful names. It's kind of like it's like if you were writing a scripted comedy, the Biden family. It'd be really funny if it wasn't so unbelievably sad because they're like in power right now. But think of all the this is, I mean, incredible. It's like crack rock Sesame Street. It's like Sesame Street went just super ghetto. All right? You got Corn Pop over here. You got Mouse, who's Corn Pop's friend. You got drug dealer Mookie. You got Hunter Biden laying on Oscar the Grouch's trash can, smoking crack. Oscar the Grouch, get out of my can! You got Weed Slut 420 rolling down the street, looking for a hit. Boy, it's like it's really exciting. It's a really exciting. I would tune in to this version of Sesame Street to chuckle on a Saturday night. What a great cast of characters. Who else am I missing here? I'm missing some really exciting characters. Oh yeah, all right. We're in the process of getting Weed Slut 420 a Congressional Medal of Honor. for her testimony here. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so what a wonderful family. Oh yeah, I'm forgetting. Yeah, okay, so I'm forgetting old man Sniffer, who continues to crap his pants. He uses his walker, kind of like the old creepy guy at a Family Guy, right? So you got the old predator rolling down the street. His daughter, scared, up in the apartment in the shower, looking to sniff all the kids on the block, okay? Except for one kid. There's one kid that the old man won't sniff. And that's his grandchild that he refused out of wedlock, who lives on the other block, that he refuses to even speak to or acknowledge. Something else we found out in this trial. That's the Sesame Street that the Bidens have created. Okay, we'll call this downtown, filmed in downtown Wilmington, Delaware. It's where the jury pool comes from. We have this is the Sesame Street that the Bidens live on. All right, here's your street. This is what the Bidens have created. Maybe we'll do an animated series. This will be a blessing to all. There's like really easy ways to animate stuff these days. Maybe we'll do an animated series. Okay, the Biden Street, downtown Wilmington. This is it. Oscar the Grouch getting a handgun thrown in his trash can. Okay, Oscar the Grouch like wakes up and there's a handgun hits him right in the eye, thrown in there by Haley Biden. Reminder, Haley Biden's husband was Beau Biden. He died of brain cancer. Nobody's trying to make fun of that or make light of that. But Hunter Biden swooped in immediately to that grieving widow and started having an affair with her and then got her addicted to crack. That's a fact. That's a fact. And when Haley throws Hunter Biden's illegally obtained Colt 38 and hits Oscar right in the eye with it, he blamed it on a bunch of Mexicans. The Mexicans who were working at the grocery store. It's in the police report. Hunter Biden says, oh yeah, those guys probably illegal. So add those guys to the neighborhood too. They're like the innocent Hispanic guys who are just working, stocking shelves at the grocery store. And here's the evidence. There you go. It's from the police report. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. All right? So this is Joe Biden's block. The Biden block. We'll call it the Biden block. Instead of Sesame Street. We'll make a whole kids show out of it. And all of it will be based on like literal, actual, real characters from this family. And this will be the opening. This will be the opening sequence here. Can we add? I don't know if we can add Sesame Street music to this. Maybe we'll try by the end of the show. Here we go. Here, this will be the opening. This is the opening sequence of how we tell the story of the Biden block. Here we go. Here's the old man himself.
Room at lunchtime after a free swim and sit on the floor because it was nice and cool. And remember Boom Boom Cannon and a few other guys that worked here as well. And we sit there and we talk, and it asked me questions because I really was the only white guy they really knew.
I forgot Boom Boom. Why couldn't I remember that? I'm so sorry. I failed you, and I'll do better next time. I forgot Boom Boom Cannon. Boom Boom Cannon is the other character on the Biden block that we forgot. Who wants to see this animated series? Let's pin a poll. Who would like to see this animated series? Maybe we will set about going and making the Boom Boom Cannon Biden block animated series. You can see exactly what the what the Biden family has done. All right. Here's Weed Slut 420 getting the Congressional Medal of Honor. Yeah, all right. Okay. That's enough of that. Okay, all right. Yeah. Enough stolen valor on this show. Enough stolen valor on this show. We've played so many times Joe Biden saying his son died in Iraq. Enough stolen valor for the entire history of this program. Like 50 different times Joe Biden says his son died in Iraq. That's literally stolen valor. That is stolen valor, okay? We're not saying his son didn't go to Iraq, but his son didn't die in Iraq. There are thousands of Americans who died in Iraq. Totally, it is unspeakable and unacceptable that happened. But you dishonor them by lying about your son who died of a brain tumor when he was wearing a suit to work, out of the service, as the Attorney General of Delaware, pardoning predators and pedophiles. Oh, we actually have that, by the way. You know that Beau Biden turned a political favor. While he was still alive, Beau Biden turned a political favor and pardoned a sexual predator of the DuPont family because they had been big funders of the Bidens. So in case you're wondering how it works. Oh man, we got some commenters. Comments are being sent real fast. Boom boom, corn pop, weed slut, Mookie, and the Mexicans. That's the Biden block. That's Jerry, do your best to add some Sesame Street music to the corn pop story. Let's see if we can't get like some Sesame Street music in the corn pop story going. All right. Yeah. Mr. Snuffleupagus is Hunter's best friend. Oh yeah. Yeah, I call that a boom boom cannon, right? Right, straight up the snuffer. Yeah, all right, okay. You took it all, Snuffleupagus. Maybe that's why Hunter had to buy so much. Oh, okay, all right, okay. Back on track here. All right, what are the pros and cons of the criminal defense against Hunter Biden? What will happen? What are the experts saying? We just went to community college over here. What are the experts saying? Here we go.
Will Hunter testify? You're a defense attorney. Would you put him on the stand? What are the pros and cons of that?
Hey, Anita, great to be back with you. So, yeah, this is a high-risk, high-reward decision. What do I mean by that? Well, if Hunter Biden takes the stand and he looks at the jury and says, at the time I filled out that form to purchase a gun, I was not using illegal drugs, I was not a drug addict, then arguably he seals the deal, right? Because as of now, the prosecution hasn't really put up a witness saying that at the time Biden fills out the form, he was under the influence. So that could arguably exonerate him. The flip side of that, though, is if he gets up on the stand and says, hey, at that time I wasn't a drug addict, then prosecutors can bring in impeachment evidence. They can go into, like Griff said, alleged drug dealers. They could possibly go into his lifestyle. They could use other evidence about him taking drugs to make him look like a terrible, irresponsible person. So it's risky. If I was a betting man, I would say that Hunter Biden's not going to take the stand.
Well, Hunter Biden didn't take the stand. Andy McCarthy, who's been really ringing like a bell in these Trump prosecutions, talking about what that means. So let's go to legal experts here.
It is unlikely he'll testify. Do you think that's a good decision?
It is a good decision, Dana. I think looking at his potential sentencing guidelines, it looks to me like even if he gets convicted here, he's got a good chance of avoiding a prison sentence. That calculation can change if a defendant takes the stand, gives a version of events that the jury obviously rejects, especially if what we just heard is true, that the government would come back with rebuttal witnesses. And the consequences of that under the sentencing guidelines would be to add additional points to computing his offense level, as it's called in the guidelines, which would lean closer toward a prison sentence. So I think this is a smart move.
So what are they going to do? And what has been the operation here? The operation here has been a mafia operation. Speak to anybody from Delaware. I have a lot. And you'll find that this is a family that gained power through mafia-style tactics in the 70s. These people have always used muscle to cheat and rig elections. The Bidens are deeply criminal. Anybody at any VFW or American Legion in Delaware will tell you they'll sit down, they'll drink their beer, and they'll tell you exactly how much criminality the Bidens are engaged with in Delaware. Going back to Joe Biden, if they're old enough, if they're an old timer, they'll remember Joe Biden's first election, where he rigged polls and ballot boxes with the unions and literally intimidated people, intimidated newspapers. I mean, they're just criminals, right? They're just your common lowbrow criminals using muscle to try and gain power and influence. So it's a tale as old as time. That family has been doing that. You ever seen Godfather 2? They've been standing in the back of the courthouse, glaring down the innocent jurors there. We can make your life hell. Here's that impact.
No, you weren't in a criminal case. But what does it look like to you with all of those family members being in Delaware with that name and that political weight? Is that bad or good for the prosecution?
Oh, I think they'd rather be in another jurisdiction. I don't think that's great for them. But again, they've got a very, very strong case. What I would be worried about if I were on the prosecution team is if you get a conviction, will it stand up? Not because of anything that happens in trial, but because of the whole diversion agreement and whether or not that should have still been in effect, whether or not the government has breached that agreement. That's a real issue on appeal that Abbe Lowell has.
Indeed. And if he does not testify today, the court could hold closing statements, jury instructions, and start deliberating later today.
Well, that could be the First Lady, right?
First Lady right there walking into
could it be?
The courtroom.
The First Lady, we are hearing from the
Yep,
producers.
that's her in the front.
All right. Don't see the president with her.
Okay, so Jill Biden. Remember, Jill Biden cares about the environment. She loves the environment so much, except for all the petroleum that's used to make the shower curtains that she wears when she's representing America internationally and abroad. And she was representing America last week in France, and she decided to fly all the way back across the Pacific to stand there and intimidate the jury once again in this trial, and then fly back to France on the American taxpayer dollar, pumping Taylor Swift levels of carbon monoxide, deadly carbon monoxide, into the air via her private jets that are provided by the taxpayer. Pretty remarkable. Look at that, a 7,000, so 3,600 mile round trip, and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Wow. She really cares, doesn't she? She really cares. She's been the babysitter of Hunter Biden her entire life. She's not Hunter Biden's mom. She's the babysitter. She was the babysitter, right? She was a married woman, and Joe Biden committed adultery with her. We know this because her husband's still around. It's like around, like doing interviews. Like Joe stole my wife. We've played him for you on the show. So that's what Jill Biden is, and she's continuing. She's continuing ever the babysitter. She's babysitting Hunter once again. Now in a court of law. What will a conviction in this case mean? The great Brett Tolman sounds off.
Biden could change his mind. But as we look forward, there's this case, and then there's the other case, the one involving taxes, which is happening just before the election. And Brett, would Hunter Biden, perhaps be in more trouble because of that one?
That one will carry a significant greater risk for a longer prison sentence, and if he's convicted in this case, and he's actually going to have a higher criminal history, which will elevate the guideline range in that case if he's convicted. So there's a lot at stake here for Hunter Biden. I'm not sure that I buy that the president is not going to pardon him. I think that his track record has not been one of the most reliably honest politicians, and it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's a father and it's a son, and it wouldn't surprise me. But there's great exposure in both cases.
We do our very best on this program to bring you the legal experts, and we want to we can have all of the fun. We can have all of our fun here. Like, for instance, our team is so good. Here's the first casting. Here's the first cast member of the Biden Block, our spinoff of Sesame Street. This is Hunter's wayward friend Mookie. You can see part of the Snuffleupagus family. It is a very exciting character, a great role model for the children. Clearly comes from a cold environment and loves the snow. And is perhaps like a lovable, fluffy Arctic creature here. Yeah, got it. Greg Jarrett, our favorite legal analyst on Fox, summing up what really is happening here. And what really happened here was a deep state cover-up in order to stop the prosecution of Hunter Biden, in order to get Joe Biden elected by lying to all of us and coordinating a letter to rig the election in 2020, and then everybody who signed that letter has been rewarded. No, not a single person has been punished. In fact, the guy who organized it is Secretary of State. His name is Antony Blinken. That's what's really at play here: the exposing of how far they will go to lie to the American people to get their electoral result.
No, we shouldn't forget about it, and the American public needs to be informed of it with the upcoming election. The question is, why was everybody lying about it? Why were they so frantic to cover up the laptop? Because, Maria, it contained damning evidence of the father's involvement in his son's influence peddling schemes that netted tens of millions of dollars from America's adversaries, selling access to Joe, promises of influence, essentially selling out the nation for financial profit. And the Bidens got rich doing it. They could have been charged and should have been charged with conspiracy, bribery, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. But as we learned from the IRS whistleblowers, Biden's own DOJ scuttled the investigation to protect the Bidens. That's called obstruction of justice by the Department of Justice. But of course, they'll never prosecute themselves. So is it any wonder that Americans have lost faith in our system of justice, in the FBI, in the intel community? They were all in on it, and it was corrupt.
Man, checking the chat, people really do want us to make the Biden block. Man, we're working on more Muppets right now. We'll get an entire cast of characters here. They mentioned the two IRS whistleblowers. These IRS whistleblowers were stopped at all fronts from investigating the Bidens. This entire thing has been rigged from the get until it got out of hand, until Hunter Biden blew the entire thing up himself. But these IRS whistleblowers are American patriots and heroes, and they deserve, talk about somebody who deserves an actual Congressional Medal of Honor. In a moment, we'll have Congressman Brian Mast joining the program who can maybe speak to that. But these two whistleblowers, they're arguably some of the bravest men in America, and they came forward and they showed exactly what a rotten deal this all was and how rigged this system is, and they deserve our thanks. They're doing a new round of interviews now as this trial is ongoing. Have a listen.
The IRS agents say they began finding evidence that gave them strong reason to want to look into Joe Biden.
We not only investigate tax crimes, we investigate financial crimes, wire fraud, bank fraud, money laundering, international money laundering. There's all sorts of things that we have in our tool belt to investigate cases. So in this case, we had leads.
The press and many people, actually in both political parties, say things such as there's no evidence tying Joe Biden to Hunter Biden's businesses or any improper activities. When you hear that, what do you think?
I think it's blatantly false.
Months, baby. 5 months. You want to see all this go down? You want to see Joe Biden actually investigated? You want to see an actual investigation into the Biden crime family? You want to see what statute of limitations could potentially be extended due to federal crimes? Get a real DOJ in there, baby. Get a real DOJ in place to actually investigate. We've had a real Congress, James. I think that the Congress, given their 3-seat majority, has done what they possibly could. I'm not here to make excuses. You know my thoughts on this. James Comer had criminal referrals for Hunter and Jim Biden based on the perjury rules of Congress from last week. We're going to ask Brian Mast about this in just a second. Here's the update.
Sent out criminal referrals this past week. Tell us about that. What does that get you, and where is this going?
Well, criminal referrals are very serious. In fact, Merrick Garland has prosecuted people that were referred criminally to the Department of Justice during the Trump administration. So Merrick Garland's on record taking congressional criminal referrals very seriously. So we're going to see how seriously he takes these that we referred here. What we have, Maria, is Hunter Biden under oath in a deposition lying. He perjured himself 2 different times at least about about Joe Biden's involvement and participation in schemes. We also have Jim Biden lying about the fact that Joe Biden met with Tony Bobulinski. Jim Biden testified in his transcribed interview that they never met, but both Tony Bobulinski and Hunter Biden testified under oath that they met. So we know they met. Why would Jim Biden lie about that? It's all to protect Joe.
So what will happen if Republicans who are on foot right now to keep the House, take the Senate, and take the presidency, based on all the betting markets, what will happen in a Congress like that? Well, an actual American hero, an actual warrior, somebody who is a true fighter in Congress. You can't really say that about virtually anybody, but you can say that about Brian Mast, who joins the program now. Brian, I just want to thank you for being on the show, and I apologize for the delay in getting to you. We sort of built out a Sesame Street universe, but it's like written by the Bidens, and there's some really colorful characters there. You have Corn Pop, you have Mookie, you have Boom Boom Cannon, you have some of the cockroaches at the pool, along with all of the strippers and all their stripper names in this Hunter Biden trial that we're learning, and so. It's a really exciting children's program. I hope your children ever watch it.
There might be a cousin, like a sugar cookie monster.
That's right. Get AI on that right now. That's great. Okay, so I assume that you've been following this case, Congressman, or at the very least, seeing what's been happening versus what happened to Donald Trump 2 weeks ago in New York. Kind of get you an opportunity to sound off on the legal landscape here because it's fraught.
Yeah, the sound off is this. Where will an administration put the full weight and force of the U.S. government, which is basically limitless, basically unstoppable? And the evidence is clear. They will put the full weight and force of the U.S. government against a Donald Trump. They'll use it to make sure that his media and anybody that supports him is suppressed. Those that speak out against the Biden family or anybody that supports them, that is suppressed. Anything that supports them on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, you name it, that if it's bad for them, it's suppressed. If it's good for them, it'll go through the algorithm and hit everybody. The full weight of the U.S. unstoppable government will come against you. If you are against the Bidens, whether you're an IRS whistleblower or anybody else, or just you or I out in the world, and if you're for them, they got your back 100%. That's the world we live in America right now.
Yeah, it seems like that could, though, change, right? I mean, it could potentially change if you had people with the guts and the gunpowder to actually change it all. I don't think that anybody wants it to be rigged in our favor. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm just sitting on the sideline here. I wouldn't mind it. I think most people just want fair.
That's America. We do want fair. That's what the rule of law has always been about in this place. I'm preaching to the choir. You're the echo chamber of wanting fairness, wanting justice, wanting it to not matter which party you are or who you are. That just listen. Are you above the law? Are you with the law? Are you in what you could say is good standing of the law within your state, within your county, within your city, within the federal government? Or are you not? And we're all treated equally, but that's not the Biden world. But again, you're the echo chamber on this. You know this. And we know that should we get a Trump administration, which the House will certainly follow whichever way the presidency goes. I think the Senate goes to Republicans one way or another. Then you have a real opportunity to right the ship of making a level ground. And that's a level ground with international relations to domestic relations.
You've served your country, and you're a 12-year veteran of the Army, and it's you've used a lot of firearms. I assume you're a firearm owner in your private as a private citizen as well. And there's no more metal detectors at the front of Congress, so you could presumably you could carry right into Congress as our founders intended. But nonetheless, you know these rules and you know these laws, and you know how responsible firearm ownership. Maybe sound off if you follow the actual facts of this case. There's such a strong argument to put Hunter Biden in prison just as an example of somebody who is illegally purchasing and then deeply irresponsibly using firearms that puts his fellow citizens in danger. And nobody, especially legal firearm owners, don't want that.
I guess the Hunter Biden defense is essentially this. He's so cracked out at the time that he was purchasing a firearm that he didn't realize that he should be answering the other way because he was on too much crack. Maybe he did it 20 minutes before. Maybe he did it 20 minutes after he got done filling out his paperwork. And then the family was so irresponsible that they decided the appropriate way to move a firearm, to transfer a firearm to somewhere else, is dump it behind a grocery store. I don't know where they get their gun ownership ideals. It's not aim small, miss small. It's they got something else that they're coming to this with.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like perhaps like there's enough of this happening at the very least, this is happening in public, and enough people are upset about it that you're going to get a backlash, and you're now seeing sort of the Uno reverse that's being played. You're on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Surely you were following the elections yesterday in Europe, where nationalists and where, I don't know, Europe first, if you wish to maybe coin that term, but those parties won in landslides. You're seeing this happening in Central and South America as well. And maybe you could speak to that march towards populism and protecting your nation and law and order. It seems to be a global movement now.
Yeah, I think they're seeing a number of things. Hey, number one, let's make sure that we do protect our borders. Let's not end up like what's happening in America or what happened with Ukraine, with Russia coming in there, or to Crimea or other places. They're seeing that. But they're also realizing, hey, where we spend our money, this has consequences. If you're France and you're spending $100 billion on electric buses, instead of maybe where you could have put that into defense, and then you got to go begging to the United States of America, hey, please dump billions, hundreds of billions of dollars into this Ukraine war. They're going to dump theirs in over the course of 3 or 4 or 5 years because they know America will flip the bill for this. But they're realizing, hey, they do need to start changing those policies because they're going to have an America First president come in. Donald Trump's going to look at the situation and say, are you using your money appropriately, or are you asking America to put forth their time, treasure, and everything else for your defense when you're just misprioritizing your own resources, right? You're the EU. You've got $20 trillion in GDP. America's got $25 trillion in GDP. Why are we picking up a greater proportion of that war than what the EU is doing? It doesn't make sense. And Donald Trump can do very good math, and he's going to add that up as soon as he gets back into the White House.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have no new wars. That'd be nice. As somebody I know who's seen war up close, I certainly have not. But maybe in closing, can you speak to that? So, I assume that you would have such a heartfelt connection to what those battlefields and those fronts really are, and that seems to be, quite frankly, the shining achievement of the Trump first term.
Yeah, look, I'm standing up right now. If I were sitting down, I could take off a prosthetic leg and I could stand it up here and hold it up to you and say, look, this is one of the costs of war. I have friends that are missing 3 limbs, friends that are missing 4 limbs, friends that are blind, friends that are burned, friends that are a combination of all of the above, and friends that never came home. That's the cost of war. Donald Trump doesn't want us in new wars. Donald Trump wants to make sure that defense and deterrence is a part of what America is all about so that we don't have to get into those wars. And we have a Biden administration, and I'll put a fine point on this right now. You had General McKenzie, right, just exited as CENTCOM commander. He literally said Joe Biden took Iran off the table as a target. Under no circumstances was Iran going to be a target. And McKenzie literally said this. He said, that's the equivalent of giving aid and comfort to the enemy. If you take them off the target list entirely, then that means there is no deterrence at all. They have nothing to fear. And then, of course, you see them engaging with Israel, engaging with the Houthis in Yemen and so many other places. America doesn't have deterrence under Biden. We don't have good defense under Biden, and we don't have a good morale of the military under Biden.
Yeah, no new wars. I mean, like that print it off and put it on the bumper sticker. The best moment in American, I would argue, the best moment in American diplomatic history was in modern American diplomatic history, Kim Jong-un clapping Donald Trump on the back and welcoming him in to North Korea while he's wearing a pair of lifts. Donald Trump then fat shaming him to his face. It's like hilarious. It's really funny, and it's a wonderful thing to see. It's like it was healing. It was neat.
It was that, but don't forget, that was one of the greatest returns of American service member remains as well. Everybody was knocking Donald Trump for this taking place, but he got the remains of U.S. service members that had not come home in all of these generations. He got those back. That's a constant day-to-day effort, and people just glossed over it as though, oh, all he did was, exchange places with this dictator. No, there was a lot more that was done there, and that's how he handled that situation, which was great for America.
It was great for America. Thank you for reminding me of that, Congressman. Something that I think we overlook often. Congressman, you truly are a fighter. We thank you for your fight. We hope that we send you back with a larger majority this time around. I think people are pretty fed up, so I have a feeling that's going to happen. Everybody must follow the Congressman on social and go ahead and 113,000 patriots. Can't be wrong. He's from the great state of Florida. And we need more like him. Godspeed, Congressman.
Godspeed, my friend.
All right, baby. Okay, rocking and rolling. Look at these commandants. Purple Heart, Army Commendation for valor, the Bronze Star, the Defense Meritus Service Medal. These are all of the awards that Brian Mast got, and certainly is not the awards that Weed Slut 420 would ever get in a ceremony. Maybe Weed Slut 420 would get some award for something, but most likely can't mention it on the program here. Something that we do find very important to mention on the program at all times, and we just heard us talk about it with the Congressman there, is our love and care for life. There, every single day, there is some new thing that is shoved into our feeds about the declining populations of the world and what a disaster that looks like 100 years from now, with the vast majority of nations having declining populations. Like, what's that going to look like as a society, as a civilization? Life is so important. The culture around life and the celebration of life, whether it's not sending our boys to go get blown up in some desert somewhere or ripped up in some jungle somewhere, or the celebration of life when it comes to supporting young mothers who may feel like they have no other options. This is also remarkably important. That's why we're proud to partner with Preborn. Preborn is an incredible organization that provides help to crisis and at-risk babies. And they do so by compassion for the mother, not by screaming or yelling in their faces, but by providing free ultrasounds to mothers with unplanned pregnancies to introduce them to the precious life growing inside of them. When a mother meets her baby on ultrasound, she hears the heartbeat, she's twice as likely to choose life. Is that wonderful? $28 from sponsors. We'll get one ultrasound. $100, $140 will help rescue 5 babies based on all available statistics. Your generous tax-deductible donation will also help provide women who choose life with assistance for up to 2 years, so please give your gift today and help promote life. Donate, dial pound 250, say the word baby. That's pound 250, say the word baby, or visit preborn.com/Benny. Preborn.com/Benny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, really exciting times. Donald Trump. Let's see. Let's play this. Let's have a guess here. Where is Donald Trump in this clip? Where is our boy? Where's our boy? Is this like downtown Midland, Texas? Is this Arkansas? Is this in the heart of Missouri, in the Ozarks? Huh? Is this Iowa, my home state, where Trump won by 10 points each election? Nope. This is in dark blue, California. Dark blue, Newport, California. Donald Trump having people stacked 5 people deep cheering for him. This is video from Trump's motorcade. What a remarkable moment here, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump doing a fundraiser this past weekend in Newport, California, waving to the boats. Look at this. There's our boy. Come get your boy. Donald Trump waving to the boat saying, "What's up, boys?" And clapping. There was a Donald Trump boat parade there in Newport. We'd have to play video for the rest of the day. It would take us all night to play you all of the Trump video of Trump being celebrated and adorned in California, of all places. There were dudes like in kayaks, like kayaking up in like American flag kayaks, like kayaking up for Trump. It was so unbelievably awesome. The one thing I would ask ALX, can you get me that clip from San Francisco outside of David Sachs' house? It's pretty awesome, man. Pretty incredible, this stuff with Trump. And Donald Trump is barnstorming the hearts and minds of people. I mean, it's not just people showing up waving flags for Trump. That's been a phenomenon we've seen for the better part of a decade now with the president. It's now Donald Trump winning on the issues. Listen to this from CBS News this past weekend. The vast preponderance of Americans now support mass deportations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
You've seen the Trump campaign talking about mass deportations. We tested that in a general way in principle. Would you support a new government program that would deport all people living in the U.S. illegally? And that finds majority favor. That finds 6 in 10. It's strongest among folks who are MAGA. It's strongest among Trump supporters, but also from some Democrats as well. And I think that speaks to the general idea, not just that people see the border as a crisis, but also where we are in the campaign, where a lot of very dramatic or new proposals out there are finding favor here.
So unpack that a bit, because this 62% of Americans favor deporting all undocumented immigrants. So Homeland Security says that President Biden has already deported or repatriated more people in the past year than any year since 2010. And then, depending on the details of what's talked about on the campaign trail, some of what Mr. Trump talks about could be illegal. It doesn't seem practical in some sense to round up children. And then we know that the courts have questioned whether local authorities would have the ability to do it, and federal authorities don't have the resources. So what exactly do people think they're supporting?
So look at the couching there by the corporate media. Oh, well, you can see immediately what's about to happen. As soon as Donald Trump gets in there and they begin this process, and he's going to put Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, mark my words. That's what's going to happen. He's going to put Vivek in there, and Vivek's been so strong on this issue, and he's a dear friend of the show, and it's not like he's told me this directly. We just follow the trends here. We're alive, and we pay attention. That's our superpower. And you've heard Vivek talk so strongly about this, about deportation and about what must happen, right, in this country, and that's what they're going to do. That's what he's going to do. Trust me, like that. I mean, you can see that now the media is starting to seed the narrative. Why would you do? You can't do this to children, right? You couldn't do this to, like, it would make us sad. It makes people sad. What makes people sad is when you break the law in this country. And what makes people sad is when people on the terrorist watch list come into this country, committing acts of terrorism. What makes people sad is when Laken Riley is killed on a jog in Georgia by somebody who's already been arrested and entered this country illegally from Venezuela. He's been arrested multiple times. He was released multiple times to go murder and kill again. That's what makes people sad. And I think that they're actually running out of tears. They're running out of, like, salty tears for this kind of stuff. And that's why we're going to do our Salt That Lib of the day right now, because we on this program, ladies and gentlemen, know that the salt must flow. And let's flow it in the direction of AOC, shall we? AOC worries that Donald Trump would throw her in jail if he wins presidency. He's out of his mind. Throw her in jail? What are you talking? What have you done, AOC? What are you admitting to, AOC? Let's salt this salty lib. AOC, opine, what crime have you committed exactly? Other than the crime against the levels of median IQ in Congress. What crimes has are you admitting to something here? That's a strange thing. You doth protest too much, I think, as Shakespeare would say. We'll get into actually some of AOC's crimes in just a second here, but here we go. Salt that lid.
What happens to you if Donald Trump wins? What do you do? What's your first move?
I mean, it sounds nuts, but like I wouldn't be surprised if this guy threw me in jail.
Really?
He's out of his mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did his whole first campaign around lock her up. Like, this is his motto.
Oh, he didn't say that, He said he didn't say that. Teasing.
Yeah,
I
right?
see that, yeah.
I take him at his word. I take him at his word. I take him at his word when he says that he's going to round up people. I take him at his word when he threatens journalists. I take him at his word. I feel like what we saw in his first presidency was an amuse-bouche to what his intentions are. He has learned from his mistakes of appointing professionals, and he will not make that mistake next time.
Oh, okay. Wait a second. So AOC, Representative AOC is under investigation by the House Ethics Committee. It's amazing how these people who are with the most to hide are always the ones who are so hysterical when somebody comes in that may well actually hold them into account. Rep. AOC is under investigation by the House Ethics Committee. I'll save you the read here, but the point is that she misused her congressional funds. She's been funneling funds in some really weird way to her husband/boyfriend, which she's like changed the designation of what their relationship is, and that has major ramifications as to who and what you can spend your congressional allocation on. She's been misallocating monies. Like, for instance, that tax the rich, stupid ass tax the rich dress. Like she was effectively like taking those designer dresses as gifts, and you have to declare those things. You have to write those things off and pay for them. You can't, if you're a member of Congress, you can't just accept gold bars, right, as presents. That's not allowed. That's bribery. There's an entire ream of ethics along with her hair and makeup and the tickets to the Met Gala, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And so, yeah, really interesting. Maybe AOC should face some true DOJ scrutiny. Maybe she's really worried about this. Don't know, but probably worth a little look-see here. And will Donald Trump win? Well, all I got for you is this. Here's Donald Trump. Here's downtown San Francisco, a place where we've gone and filmed a bunch of times. This is like the center of the leftist center of the universe. And you have guys dressed as Donald Trump waving Donald Trump flags outside of our friend David Sachs's house, who held a fundraiser for Donald Trump where he raised tens of millions of dollars from tech barons in San Francisco. This is what it looked like in downtown San Francisco. Yeah. This, ladies and gentlemen, is causing true panic in the best possible way. These are the headlines here. Panic for Democrats as tech titans raise millions for Trump. Oh yeah, baby. These are some of our dear friends, David Sachs and Chamath. I don't actually know how to pronounce his last name, so I won't. But this was the event. Donald Trump, downtown San Francisco, pulling in the cash, baby. They've got to be so scared. The panic is real. They've got to be so scared. It's such a very special moment. Kamala Harris was speaking at a dinner in Detroit and snapped and like literally lost it and started screaming over the past weekend. I want to get to this because it does show you, like, calm, cool, and collected is when Donald Trump goes, ha ha ha, go home to mommy, go home to mommy. Somebody who's literally losing it and having a mental collapse is what Kamala Harris does here. This shows you some pretty fascinating insights into what it looks like to be on the verge of collapse. Watch.
We mourn all the innocent lives that have been lost in Gaza, including those tragically killed today. For the past 8 months, President Biden and I have been working every day to bring this conflict. I'm speaking right now, and I value and respect your voice, but I'm speaking right now.
I'm speaking right now. I value and respect your voice, but also please make sure you put them in the gulag with all the J6ers as like as the muscle for Kamala, the armed, strapped, loaded to the brim muscle for Kamala Harris, like drag the protester out by her scalp. I'm speaking right now, but I respect you and I love you. And please make sure that they go directly into solitary and get the Dick Cheney treatment. Warm up the old waterboards. How dare you? I'm speaking. Ooh, man. Oh, gross. Oh, it's funny. It really is. If you take a second and step back and look at it from a psychological perspective, they're breaking, they're snapping, right? Joe Biden's like squatting on stage, doing all this weird stuff in Normandy. Kamala Harris is like starting to scream and yell and get all tortured in her little glass house. Oh man, sicking guys. So she sent guys with guns after the left-wing protester. Not a MAGA hat. The left-wing protester, she six guys with guns on them. Interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Kamala, she really cares about that lady's voice. All right. Speaking about guys with guns, I'm a guy with guns. Okay, I'm a guy with guns. We get firearms in the studio. I'm a guy with guns, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our Monday Gun Day, brought to you by Spikes Tactical. Oh, yeah, baby. Okay, so the Second Amendment Foundation, an awesome organization, pledges litigation on Trump's behalf if his concealed permit is removed. So here's a little thing. In New York, they're trying to take away Donald Trump's ability to own a firearm. Donald Trump has a concealed carry permit. Obviously, he's Donald Trump. Super rich and famous. I mean, you'd assume that the Secret Service would kind of take care of any issues, but why shouldn't Donald Trump have a concealed carry permit? Well, he was found guilty on 34 bullshit charges, and so now they're going to take away his concealed carry permit because felons can't own firearms, depending on the state, obviously. The Second Amendment Foundation pledged to litigate on behalf of Donald Trump's behalf if the New York Police Department revokes his concealed carry permit. Last week, the New York Police Department was preparing to revoke Trump's concealed carry permit following the felony convictions handed down. CNN pointed out the permit was actually suspended on April 1st, 2023, following Trump's indictment. But the New York Times noted the investigation into the matter is underway by the New York Police Department, who loves Donald Trump. However, the New York Times pointedly admitted that Trump has the right to file a challenge to the move. Enter the Second Amendment Foundation, which made clear on Thursday that it will litigate on Trump's behalf if the permit is revoked. The vice president of this organization said Donald Trump has no history of violent crime, and under the Supreme Court's 2002 Bruin ruling, which requires gun laws to have some analogous connection to historic regulation at the time, the founders wrote the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, Mr. Trump should not lose his Second Amendment rights. He added there is no historical nexus to deny somebody, including Trump, of their firearm rights over such a conviction. Do we have those cool photos of Donald Trump getting the golden Glock with his face on it? I can't remember if it was a Glock. There's these amazing photos of Donald Trump at a firearms store, and he visited one. I'm almost sure it was in the Carolinas, ALX. And he has, like, it's Donald Trump holding this golden Glock. And it's what I assume Donald Trump would be concealed carrying. Okay, boys, we got to get that photo. Since we're talking about it, got to get it up. The greatest photo of Donald Trump with a gun. And you don't have a lot of these photos because, well, I don't think the Secret Service wants him to be around a bunch of firearms. I mean, you can assume that for obvious reasons. But Donald Trump holding, oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, look at that. The golden 45 with Donald Trump's face on the handle. There it is. Look at that. Oh man. That is a beauty. That is a beauty. You have to assume that this is what Trump's packing when he's concealed carrying. Do you think that the Secret Service lets Trump conceal carry? What do you think, chat? Do you think they let, I mean, what do you say? Donald Trump says, I want to conceal carry. Like, what do you think? Do you think they let him? I don't know, man. Do you think they let him? If he is, it's got to be this one. Ooh, man, that is a beauty. All right, speaking of beauties, we got what we promised you. We got the Sesame Street opening for the Biden block here, baby. And I haven't seen this, so we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it together. And here's our first pass. What's that? Yeah, we'll just play beside. Let's watch it together. Here's our first pass at the Joe Biden's block. His real life take on Sesame Street. Let's go.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And remember Boom Boom Cannon and a few other guys that worked here as well. One of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board. I'll come up and drag you off.
So when Joe told Corn Pop to stop, don't bounce on the board, Joe used not only Esther, but he used the French language.
You know the chain? There used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain. And you walk to the car and say, you may cut me, man, but I'm going to wrap this chain around your head.
You better not walk home tonight. Don't come back to the pool again.
That was really good, Jerry. Well done. That was really, really good. Okay. Reminder, we're doing casting. We're doing casting for the Biden block. That was the Boom Boom Cannon. We're doing casting. Here's our first character, the sniffleupagus. It's a sniffleupagus, whose pastimes include they love skiing. They love skiing in the snow. Mr. Sniffle Snuffless. Mr. Hunter Bidenus. Yes. It's why you tune in, you see? It's why you tune into the show. We're oh no. Oscar. Yeah. Oscar the Pouch is what we'll call him. Because his Hunter Biden's gun pouch had so much residue on it. Oh, poor Oscar the Pouch. Oh, he didn't ask for this. He didn't ask for it. Oh boy. You know, my team my Mr. Mr. Snort a lot of crack. Okay, it's rolling. Maybe this will be the thing that we do throughout the week. Maybe this will be our theme of the week. Yes, the Big Bird. Okay, so apparently Big Bird's being made here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do, oh boy, we need some salvation from this. Let's do our verse of the day from Luke 12, verse 2. Just finished reading Luke, actually, so love that gospel. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, and nothing hidden that will not be made known. Ladies and gentlemen, they thought they could get away with it, but it's called the old, Streisand effect. Oh, that's not a good Big Bird. No. That's not a Big Bird. It's the Streisand effect. The AIs are coming in hot now into the producers chat. They say, like, don't pay attention to this, right? They tried to hide it. The more you try to hide it, the more it will become known. It's actually best from a Christian worldview, from like just a human worldview. It's best to just confess. Confess that you're a scumbag, like that you're a sinner. You got to be saved by grace, and that you are imperfect and you need salvation. And that's what our Lord Christ is here for. And so we're going to need salvation after all of these AIs from Mr. Biden's block here. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, like authenticity, honesty, and being in the light is the best policy. Christ himself says, I am the salt, I am the light. I am the salt, I am the light. So stay salty, ladies and gentlemen. Be the light. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing saltier than this Big Bird. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, we got our big bird. Oh man. Oh no. Big Bird. Oh man. I don't want to know what I don't know what oh, jeez, guys. Okay. All right. We're going to cut it off for the day. Cut it off for the day. We're out here. We'll be here all week. It's our job to bring uplifting and to bring joy and to try and make a little sense of this crazy world, and to do it along with you. And we march with you. We march to victory. Straight through Biden's block. Okay, don't breathe too heavily. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be ready for victory. Okay, and we'll have a laugh while we do it. Can't defeat a happy army. Can't defeat an army of happy warriors, ladies and gentlemen. And so, yes, march forward with us on to victory. Let's have a laugh. Well, let's have a laugh while we do it. We could use a laugh here, around here. It's your boy Benny. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hunter Biden had his wish granted from the Make-A-Wish Foundation to be his own sketch artist in his own trial. The judge in the case felt pity for the 54-year-old man boy and said that, quote, "If I can help a butterfly land on a handicapped kid's nose, I would do that, and this is like that." Well, Brian, I don't know about these paintings, though. I'd be like, can you?
Possibly, it might be one of his regrets in life, we'll see.
Yeah, I would imagine
we'll check
at some
back
point.
in about 20 years.